Let's further discuss this now with Rina Shah. She is a political advisor and commentator and joins me now live from Washington. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. Let me first get your thoughts on where the Democrats stand and the reaction to the latest developments that we've seen.
Well, with Joe Biden just announcing that he's not going to be seeking a second term, the Democrats now have the upper hand in the race. And I think it's actually a very exciting moment for them as they get close to the convention. Of course, there are so many people out there who are emotional today and who feel very let down because of Joe Biden's timing. Many people have long talked about that if this was a decision that needed to be made, it should have been made perhaps even a year ago. But that disastrous debate performance a month ago, of course, led us to this day. And I think he has exhibited that he has courage and humility and is being selfless in this moment by not seeking reelection. This is the kind of moment where you have to acknowledge what the stakes are. And when you look at the age of Joe Biden, you look at the age of Donald Trump, we do have to see that age is the biggest factor here. The trust that either of these two men could live through a second term. So, in essence, by announcing today, just ahead of the convention, Joe Biden's leaving the door open for people to not only take his vice presidential running mate from last time and who was up until today. He is taking a moment to acknowledge what she brings to the table and to give her the strong endorsement that he did today. I think signals that he is hopeful about her future and her ability to beat Donald Trump.
You say that this decision has given the upper hand to the Democrats in the race. In saying that, do you mean that they've instilled trust to their supporters by saying, look, we take this very seriously and we're going to put the right candidate to represent us?
Indeed, because when you're seeing a passing of the baton, there's a lot of factors that go into it. And unfortunately, what the Democrats had happen over the past 3 to 4 weeks was a lot of their infighting make itself public. And it made the Democrats look like they were in disarray. And while the Republicans just wrapped up their convention, they projected strength and unity because it looked like everybody got in line, especially Nikki Haley, who made it to the stage there and gave her endorsement of Donald Trump, who she had just spent the entire past fall into February of this year criticizing, saying that he added 8 trillion to the national debt, which he did do during his time in the White House, and criticizing him on so many other fronts regarding character as well. But at the end of the day, when you look at how it really plays out now, I think we can be hopeful again about the moment. Two of our nation's most successful presidents have come out of brokered conventions, President Abe Lincoln and President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. These are two men who made it through multiple ballots. And so, if this is going to be that kind of a convention for the Democrats next month in Chicago, people should be feeling excited at the prospect of democracy playing in public. This is democracy in action, in essence. And so I think the Democrats have a really good opportunity to project that to the American public that is by and large feeling very frustrated and fatigued by the way our politics has been happening and over the past 8 years.
Right. Some experts would say that the Republicans are more united than ever, especially after the RNC that happened last week, where Donald Trump gave his first speech following that assassination attempt that he survived. And experts would also say that, this latest development has kind of put divisions within the Democrat Party. I mean, when you compare the two, how would you assess their differing situations?
Well, both parties have a job this cycle, and it is just simply to turn out their most ardent supporters. They can't run the risk of anyone staying home. So that's one big thing they have to do. But going beyond just projecting strength and unity and vitality, they have to give ideas. There's an entire two demographics of Americans that don't get spoken to as much, it seems, and it's millennials and Gen Z. And Gen Z should be credited with putting Biden Harris in the White House in 2020. They really turned out for them. And so these two generations need some ideas that are forward thinking, looking at the challenges that our nation faces on the technological front, there are new innovations all the time, particularly in AI and in cybersecurity, that America really needs to start to be at the forefront of. And we need to be a place where competition and innovation are homes for. So I just really genuinely believe that both the parties need to start talking in ideas and go deeper in their talk on solutions, particularly the Republican Party, because grievance politics has really characterized Trump's campaign, and he hasn't been able to go more than surface deep on giving, again, ideas about fiscally conservative proposals that could be helping multiple generations and different types of Americans across the political spectrum and across the country.
Right, and there's a lot of comments being made on how very important members of the Democratic Party haven't so far endorsed Kamala Harris, including Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Obama hasn't endorsed Kamala Harris yet. And speaking of the Obamas, there are reports of, Michelle Obama potentially running for the top job. What are your thoughts on that?
I do believe Michelle Obama's favorable since she and Barack left the White House have been so good that they're hard to ignore. Michelle Obama is the type of American woman that so many like me aspire to be. An accomplished professional. She was a lawyer, but obviously a very family oriented person, a mother to two girls, projecting happiness at every moment, using high minded language that really makes you proud to look at her and think, does she have that leadership style that could transcend into other areas? When she was in the White House as First Lady, she took on an initiative for kids tackling obesity at a time where American kids were really suffering from related issues and still do. So I think her ability to speak to the moment is also very good. But again, since she's left the White House, she has spoken very openly about her marriage with Barack, how what it's like to just be an aging woman, and how society perceives you, and how she believes she has tackled some of life's greatest challenges, and how she's done that. She's attracted tremendous attention in the way she's spoken in these years since, again, she and Barack left. So I do think Michelle Obama would enjoy a warm reception anywhere, particularly at the Democrats' convention, because they were the top of the ticket for so many years.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, this would be very good to have good competition. I was very pleased with Kamala Harris's statement she put out today saying, I want to earn this nomination. That to me speaks volumes about Kamala Harris's character. So no matter what happens at the convention, and if the delegates end up putting together another ticket, I think my respect for Kamala Harris today was cemented by reading her own words saying she wants to earn that nomination. That's how it should be now that we're past the stage where all the primary elections happened and Biden won those. But again, viewers should know this is a totally normal territory to be in. There are processes and procedures for this convention to have an election within the convention that does not make it chaotic and makes it so that the right candidate makes it out and there will be unity at the end of the day.
All right, Rina Shah, a political advisor and commentator. Thank you so much for being with us here on TRT World.
Thank you so much for having me.